This demo shows you how to properly extract and remove ink from a can. This is a brand new can of processed magenta etching ink. A lot of times the cans have this tape on it, so you can remove the tape and you don't really need to worry about putting that back on. You can just throw it away. Now this one's really nice because it doesn't have any ink on the edge of the can. This can, however, is badly gouged. It is an example of how not to retrieve ink from a can. It's a complete waste of ink. And also a complete waste of your lab fees. Parchment or wax paper on top of it. So I'm going to put my gloves on just to make sure I don't get ink on my hands. One note though, if you have ink all over your gloves, this is all dried. Don't handle the can with your inky gloves. Now this is brand new, but I might need to cut along the inside edge of the can just with this clean inking knife. Double check that it didn't have any residual ink on it of another color. Just gave it a wipe off with some paper towels to double check that. I'm gonna try to get underneath that paper. And if I am lucky, I won't tear it. I need some dexterity here. So some of the cans of oil-based ink that we have in the studio may have
paper on the top or may not. But it's important to remove the paper so that you can actually smoothly skim the surface of the ink without gouging down into it. So please don't just peel back the paper a little bit.
To remove a little bit of ink from the side, because that ends up ruining the can of ink. It ends up drying it out, especially since we live in such an arid climate. Getting a little bit lucky on this. Peel that off. Just going to skim the very surface of the ink can and pull off what I need. Depending on how fresh the ink is, it may just be all perfect. This is a really nice can of pretty fresh ink. If there's a skin on the ink, you should work to peel that off gently and dispose of it, because the ink will develop a skin when it starts to dry. If the lid's left off, if the ink gets gouged, it ends up wasting a lot of ink. So skim, if you can see that very well. Just skim the very surface like that, keeping the ink flat. So strive to keep it nice and flat like that. I might recommend that you use an anti-skin spray. This is I don't make it anymore, but it's Daniel Smith anti-skin spray. Just give it a couple squirts on the surface. And to preserve this, think a little bit more, since I did not rip this paper. I'm just going to lightly set this back on top. If for some reason the can has ink on the rim, please make sure you wipe that off. And then a little petroleum jelly on the edge of the can, on the outside rim, will help kind of keep the air out. And also, if for some reason the can's dented and you have trouble getting the lid off, this will help remove it again. When you're finished with the can, put it back in its proper location on the shelf. Happy printing!